This is rock and roll.
From WVOX Radio, and also host of tonight's episode, This is Rock and Roll, we have Mr. Dennis Dion Nardone.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. Very nice
welcome.
intro. And the band, tremendous as always, Just Nuts Band. And welcome to This is Rock and Roll. And my name is Dennis Dion Nardone, and this is the show that features the stars of the music world. But let's say thank you and, to the guys behind the scene, our producers, Victor Sabatini, and also Tyrone Burkle, and, of course, Al Balfieri do a great job. Let's give them a hand. And Mary, you look so beautiful, all in silver.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, Mary, I am so excited tonight. The Earls.
I know.
The Earls, the world-famous Earls, are on the TV show. So with that, let's say hello and bring them all out. Larry Chance, Bobby T, Bobby Coleman of the Earls, ladies and gentlemen. Come on out.
What? Hiya, Dennis.
Good to see you. And you brought Bobby T.
So happy to be here on the set of West Side Story.
There you go.
Dennis.
Take a seat, guys. Take a seat. Let's get right into the Earls, baby. The Earls live in the studio. Want to sit behind the desk with me?
Sure.
Okay, you can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Chance. You know, on the radio show, I call you the legend. Because you are the legend.
Yeah, in my own mind.
Well, you're the legend. And Bobby T, Bobby Coleman. And Larry, first, how many years has this guy been with you, Bobby T?
54.
54. Same age as me. Bobby Coleman's been around, what, about 20 years?
30, over 30, over 30 something.
Well, welcome to This is Rock and Roll, guys. True honor to have you on the show. Bronx guys all the way.
All the way.
And right from the heart of the Bronx,
Yes,
too.
sir.
Heart of the Bronx.
The heart of the Bronx. Larry Chance. Now, of course, you started in Philadelphia.
Yes, South
Now,
Philly.
you were the land of Bobby Rydell, Chubby Checker. Did you know any of those guys?
I knew Ernest, Chubby.
Oh, really?
Hmm?
Oh, so, and
Same neighborhood.
Same neighborhood. And what neighborhood is it? South
Frankie,
Bronx?
yeah,
South
Frankie
Philly?
went to same schools I attended. Frankie Avalon.
And Mario Lanza, you know him? Did I read something about Mario Lanza?
Mario, well, my father used to get his saws sharpened by Mario's grandfather.
Oh, okay. Now, Larry, how old were you when you came to the Bronx?
15.
15, and you went right to...
Caught a beating.
that didn't take long,
Got
right?
initiated right away.
Vander Childs, you went right to Vander Childs?
Right to Evander. No, yes.
Yes, Vander Childs High School. And so anyway, you're in high school, you're in the Bronx, and a little different from Philly. And why did you guys move anyway?
Well, my dad got a better job.
Oh, okay. Were you already a singer by then?
I always sang, yeah.
You always sang. And you were singing in Philly before you came here?
Always sang.
Oh, okay. Hey, we got a picture here. You want to see this picture? Bobby T.
That's just funny looking guy.
Before he started with jazz and singing and with you, he was a doo-wopper. He sang doo-wop, baby.
Yep. The Diplomats.
Now, which one is you?
The tall guy.
There it is, right here.
Right there. I guess I must be about 14 years old.
14 years old?
Yeah.
And what's the name of the group?
The Diplomats.
Diplomats.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, playing drums first, actually, Dennis. Then I realized that there was something else happening out there.
Uh-huh.
And I got out there and started to sing on the corner with a bunch of guys, and we used to,
Yeah.
harmonize and all the Zoom, 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 and all those great songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Now, how did you meet up with Larry 54 years ago?
I was laying in the street one day drunk, and he picked me up.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
I was working in a club in Manhattan called the Metropole Cafe.
Okay.
And Jimmy Ficassi, a guy you know pretty good, came down to see me with Jack Ray, the original baritone / bass singer of the Earls.
Uh-huh.
And it started that way, Jack heard me, and he went back and told Larry, he said that he thought Bobby T would be a good fit, and that's how it happened.
And Larry was already singing with this group?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And was that the Hi-Hatters at the time?
No, we were the Earls by then.
Oh, by then you were the Earls. Okay, so I'm jumping. All right, Bobby Coleman, how many
sir.
years with the Earls?
30 plus, 31, I think.
Really? Mm-hmm. Now, you're from Arthur Avenue section of the Bronx?
No, Bronx River Projects. Then I grew up in Mount Vernon, and then I actually moved back to the Bronx. I'm the only person so far that's done that. You know.
Now, as Larry always likes to say on stage, you're the smart one of the group. You don't have one, you don't have two, you have 3 college degrees.
Yeah.
And one's from, let me guess, Iona College,
Right. You do?
Columbia,
Yes.
and Manhattan?
Right. Manhattan, in the Bronx.
What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, wait.
Hell if I know.
And what did you get? Are you a professor of some
If
sort?
I know.
No. Well, my bachelor's was from Manhattan College in mechanical engineering, and then I got an MBA from Iona and an MS from Columbia Business School.
Nothing
Sounds
in
like a
music.
lot of BS to me.
Yes, right.
It is a lot, really. Piled higher and deeper, as they say.
Larry Chance and the Earls here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rock and Roll. My name's Dennis Dion Nardone. Larry, let's go. You're singing, and the group called the Hi-Hatters.
Yes.
How did that all form? Tell me about them.
Well, our plan was to get spats, white tails and tucks, white gloves, top hats, canes, but we didn't have any money. So we said, well, it's not good. But each guy had a name he wanted the group to be called. So I said, well, the fair would be, we open up a dictionary, I put my finger in, whatever it lands on,
That's a true story?
true. I put it in and said, Earl, nobleman of high rank. I said, that's it, with the Earls.
The Earls.
No, I was happy I didn't put up like an eighth of an inch more. We'd have been the ears. I don't think that would have worked.
No. All right, so we become the Earls, and we're talking the early 60s, right?
Yes. Well, actually, 59.
59. And, okay, so you're singing, you got the Earls, and you're in the Bronx, of course. Riviera Lounge, why does that come to mind?
Well, we went to the Riviera Lounge. It was 5 nights a week. We went for a 2-week engagement and left 107 weeks later. So we got held over for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, so how did we get into recording? Who said, hey, you guys come, let's go record? Or I know you're on the, refresh my memory, Old Time label, right?
Old Town.
Old Town
But
label.
prior to that, we were on the Rome record label,
Okay.
which was owned by Johnny Power and Trade Martin. Trade, of course, had his own hits. And it was distributed by Bill Buchanan of Buchanan and Goodman fame. And Life is But a Dream was the first. And
Life is but a dream.
right, that was on Rome, and so was Looking for My Baby. And then we went to Old Town, where we recorded Remember Then and Never and Eyes and Kissing and whatnot.
Eyes one of my favorite songs.
Thank you.
I like that song. And, okay, so now the Remember Then was probably your first big hit?
First big national hit, yes.
Big national hit. Okay. And so he took off from there and then started traveling a lot.
Absolutely.
And TV shows, radio shows.
Yes.
And where did you end up? Did you do American Bandstand?
Yes, a couple of times.
Really?
Absolutely.
Bobby T, you on American Bandstand too?
No, the ship was sailing already, Dennis, and then
Yeah.
I got on the ship, and that's when it really took off.
Okay.
I actually joined the group around, it was early '64.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you joined the group 64. You have a little jazz behind you. Let's talk about that
Well,
record.
actually, I have a lot of jazz behind me. My first love was jazz because of my oldest brother and my uncle, who played drums, and I was around that all the time in the house. Big bands, Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa, my idol, and so I mean, jazz is still in my heart. It'll always be there. But again, like I said before, I realized that there was other things happening, and I got involved because I had an ear for harmony, I did it.
Now, you involved with Dion a little bit?
Just once.
Once?
Yeah, once.
Once is enough, right?
1960, actually, yeah. And funny you ask, because I sent him the picture just the other day.
Oh.
And he said, "Where is this from?" So my daughter's been with him because they're rehearsing for a new play about him.
Oh.
So I said, "Tell him it's from actually a wedding that we did." And he said, "Whose wedding?" And he couldn't remember the guy's name. And he married his cousin. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So,
You mind if
well,
I take a
of
drink
course,
from my
Dion, we
cup?
came from the same neighborhood, Belmont.
I'm gonna take a drink
Well, the
from my
Belmont
cup.
section, actually.
Mary, we have any gifts for our guests? Does Mary look lovely today?
She always looks lovely.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Bobby Coleman, Bobby Trabuzio.
Thank you
Did I
very
say
much.
it right?
You got it right.
I'd like to
You
thank
always
my
get it right.
producer, my director,
Yeah,
my writer, and my mom.
thank you.
Bobby, you mentioned Jimmy Fracassi. You did work with Jimmy Fracassi. He
Of
was
course,
he was on our show.
Well, Jimmy's the guy who brought Jack Ray down to see me. Because he was in the Earls already for not too long at the time, but he was in the Earls already.
Yeah.
And Barbara Harris, I think, is going to be on your show soon.
Yes.
Or maybe she was on already, I don't know. But back in the Riviera days,
Yeah.
Larry just mentioned, we were there for 2 years, and we cut a whole bunch of shows, and Barbara Harris being one of them. She was in several times. On a Saturday night in the Riv, they always brought in another act, and we had a great time.
Friday and
doing it.
Saturday they were next.
Okay. And we were involved in that, cutting the shows from
Yeah,
the Four Tops to Chuck Berry.
My guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Chance. We call him the legend on my radio show, and his songs are just legendary. And of course, Bobby T, Bobby Coleman. Bobby Coleman, now you play the bass, guitar with the group, but you play other instruments.
Yeah.
You play keyboards, and you never do that with the Earls? You never play with the Earls?
Here and there. Actually, I started on accordion with Dr. Fabrio in Mount Vernon, back in just after the Civil War, a long time ago. And then when the Beatles came out, I remember thinking, I'm never going to get lucky playing the accordion ever. And that was true. So I learned the guitar on my own, and then I did work. So. And then I played with Carlo Mastrangelo from the Belmonts in the Bronx in the early 70s, 1970s. And that was for about 3 years, 6 nights a
When
week.
Carlo left.
Florida, yeah.
Okay.
And then through him, I met the Belmonts and the Regents. I played with the Regents on a lot of jobs, and with the Belmonts for about 7 years in the early 80s. And then I left, I played with Ray Allen. This was guitar, bass, keyboard, no more accordion. Played with Ray Allen, the guy who wrote Peppino, the Italian Mouse, for Connie Francis.
Ray Allen Trio was something.
Yeah, well, 5 of us. And after a couple of months there, our keyboard player, John Weiss, called me because I said, I'm playing some bass now, too. I knew 2 notes, same 2 notes in every key, right? Yeah. So I said, if you hear of any jobs on bass, and a couple of weeks later, he calls me, and he was sitting with one of the members of the Earls, and or a couple, and said they needed somebody to fill in Atlantic City 2 nights a week for their bass player on bass. So I did that, and it ended up working, and I've been with them ever since. Yeah.
Now, you and Larry co-wrote a song, refresh my memory, a cappella with my friends, right?
Right.
That's a great song.
Oh,
how did that come about? Just words and music, and just
Actually,
something hit, just like anyone else writing a song?
I wrote it a long time ago, like the first version of it.
Yeah.
And then that was like in the late 80s, and then in the late 90s, Larry upgraded and improved the version and changed it to a swing and added a couple of verses, and then we recorded it, and you know it's got some
Acapella
airplay.
with
and
my friends Grace.
thanks to you, you play it all the time.
Oh, I
know
love
that.
it. All right, let's do a video. I think we got a video, and I think the first one is Remember Then. And so let's check out the Larry Chance and the Earls singing Remember Then.
Of that night we fell in love beneath the stars above. That was a lovely summer night. Remember then. Remember then. The summer's over. Our love is over. To lose that love was such a sin.
Then.
May I mention one quick thing about you notice towards the end of the video they showed the drummer? It happens to be my son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. Who I just met the other day, by the
No,
way.
actually, this is my younger son,
Really?
Anthony.
Wow,
Yeah.
great. Now, Larry, I got to tell you this. Now, I've observed this about you. All these years, you truly love singing and performing for people. I mean, everyone does, don't get me wrong, but there's a little extra energy, and you love to make people have a good time, bring back memories, and you really, truly love to perform for people.
Absolutely. That's what I live for.
I tell you, it's
Sure.
and once again, on the radio, we call you the legend.
Ah, thank you.
And let's go. Let's have a little fun here. Santana Banana. What is Santana Banana? How did that happen?
Okay. There were,
Of course, that was on the Imus show for years.
I Miss in the Morning, which was,
You know, a lot of people don't know that. When I said, you know, Larry was Santana Banana, they said, what?
yeah, here in New York, the number one radio show for many years was the Imus in the Morning show, and I was privileged to do some characters on that show. And Geraldo Santana Banana was the vice president, general manager in charge of Editorial Opinion, and he was a crazy person. And I had a lot of fun doing that, you know. I ran for the presidency of the United States.
Rainbow Johnson.
Rainbow Johnson, I got to do a lot of parodies. You know, say, killer, this Rainbow Johnson. Me and the boys got a little ditty for you. And then I do a little, you know, parody. But, you know, I've always enjoyed comedy.
Yeah.
And I love making people laugh. And
Well, that's all part of your show right now, right?
you know what it is? You run the gamut of emotion. You make them laugh, and then you do I Believe, and you bring
Yeah.
tears to their eyes, because we all have been touched in one way or another by a song like that. And
Now, I Believe is probably my number one requested song on the radio show. I mean, because as we get older, there's always something and something.
We all
and
lose
someone
someone.
always calls and says, can I hear I Believe? It's a great song anyway, but it always reflects in someone's life somehow. and #1 requested song.
Oh, thank you.
And of course, who's the first guy to do it?
Frankie
Frankie
Lane.
Lane, yeah.
Frankie Lane. And so, how did that happen? What did you always like the song, or a manager came to you
Well,
and
the
said,
song is-
"Larry, I think you could do I Believe"?
This song is a great song. And, you know, one of the original members, Larry Palumbo, passed away serving our nation as a member of the 82nd Airborne. And we just felt that would be a great song to dedicate to his memory.
Yeah,
Because he was there in the beginning and we didn't want him to be forgotten.
yeah.
And of course, we dedicated also to our fallen heroes, our veterans. And
Now, in the Bronx, you guys are from, of course. You're in the Walk Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame,
yes,
and where is that?
on the Grand
The Bronx
Concourse.
Walk of Fame.
Right on the Grand Concourse.
And
And you'll see all our names with Powell and Bobby Darin, and it was
you
quite
guys
an
got
honor.
to be proud of that, right?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
You know, when you're recognized by your hometown, nothing better.
Oh, absolutely. And so in the early 60s now, when you were popping out hit after hit after hit, of course, you're on the circle, traveling around the country. You're hitting the TV shows. Must have been real exciting for you, really, and you're carrying the name the Bronx all over the place, all over the country. Again, you had to feel proud of what you were doing. And when you hear your song out in California, you put on an oldies show on the internet in California, anywhere else, and you hear,
We'll be there soon. In August, we'll be in San Bernardino.
oh, there you go. So,
And we'll be in St. Charles, Illinois. So we're still getting around there all
yeah,
over
you're
the country.
still working. What's the website?
LarryChanceandtheEarls.com.
Did you hear that, Bobby, with 3 degrees? Can you repeat after that?
What was that? But now that you mention it, I just want to mention that in recent years I also hooked up with the great Tommy Anello, who's a good friend of the Just Nuts Band,
Yeah.
and we do local restaurants when we're not working, which is almost never. So just want to mention.
And is there a
Tommy's-
website? How do they find out if they want to come see you?
They call us. We don't have a website now.
Oh, no website.
But we're called Bobby and Tommy.
He's
or
so
Tommy and Bobby.
cheap.
He's so cheap.
the
Tell
other
him-
thing I enjoy is writing.
But he's so cheap. Tell our story about his clothes.
About what?
The clothes. He sells the clothes and they clean and he.
Well, he
Hold on, let's go to another video, and then we're gonna tell that story. Larry Chance and Earls, my guest here on This Is Rock and Roll. Let's go to another video, and we talked about I Believe. I believe that's what we have lined up on the video. Let's
I
go to the
believe we do.
Yeah, let's go to the monitor.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Chance.
Thank you. But I must tell you, that was a wonderful thing because having done that show, I got so many great emails and letters from cancer survivors and people who are battling cancer who, oh, you can applaud, please. And who'd have thunk that a little guy like me might be an inspiration to someone? But it was a wonderful feeling to know that in somewhat a little way I was able to help, because some people felt, if you could do it, I can do it. And it's a special thing. Anyway, this song is the most important song we've ever recorded. It's dedicated to one of the former members of the group, Mr. Larry Palumbo. He, of course, passed away while serving our own forces as a member of the Airborne Division D. And I want to dedicate this song not only to Larry, but all our veterans. God bless what you do. Guys, this one is for you. in the great somewhere. Here's every word. Every time I hear you, won't make me cry. Oh, touch a leaf, or see me in the sky. I believe. I know that at one time or another, I'm sure we all lost someone near and dear to our hearts. But I must tell you, there is no cause to fear because there's someone above and he watches over them, and believe me, I know he watches over each and every one of us. And every time I hear you so much for being an absolute joy to entertain PBS. Thank you for having us. Till we meet again, good night. God bless.
Larry Chance and the Earls, and what a great video doing, I believe. And our guest today. And guys, I got to tell you, that's all the time we have for This is Rock and Roll. And Larry, thank you so very much
Dennis,
for coming
thank you
down.
for having us.
Bobby T,
Yes,
keep
sir.
rocking and roll. You got that trio, that jazz trio out there?
I do. It's the Bobby T Trio, and of course Larry Chance is my guest. I couldn't ask for a better one.
Okay. Bobby Coleman, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dennis.
And guys, thank you so very much. And thank you out there for listening, watching. And don't forget, my name's Dennis Dion Nardone on the radio every Saturday and Sunday morning. And
Saturday!
another
Sunday!
edition of This is Rock and Roll.
This is
Give it to
rock.
him, Larry.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I see what you're doing out there. I see those moves you're making. I'm here to let you know, baby, cause I'm the one. So my name is Vic and I'm really slick. And I pose my realists and I do them really quick. When I'm on the job, putting on the show, cause I'm looking bold out like another Rambo.
Hey Al, I got an idea.